Warning, if you don't like strawberries, this video is not for you. Well, I don't live there anymore. I used to live in North Carolina. And this time of year in North Carolina is strawberry season. And who doesn't love a good strawberry? Today, we're going to be making strawberry cream cake from a cookbook that dates back to 1886 that was published by the Royal Baking Powder Company. And the premise of this cookbook is that people who used the royal baking powder as an ingredient in their recipes sent in their favorite recipes to the company, and the company then published this cookbook. I grew up right next to the Canadian border, and in the summer months they have what they call strawberry festivals in church basements and gathering halls and whatever you might call it. But these festivals weren't with carnival rides or games or anything like that. All it was the community getting together to eat strawberry shortcake. And so today's recipe is very reminiscent of some of that strawberry shortcake that I grew up with, except we are going to be making a very antiquated version of this. We're going to start by sifting together 1.5 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. Then you're going to mix in 1 cup of white sugar. Now we're going to add our wet ingredients, starting with 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Dump that into your dry ingredients. Then we're going to add 2 eggs that have been slightly beaten, as well as a 1/2 cup of milk. Then whisk that together into something that actually looks like a cake batter. A very thick one, I might add, by the way. And since this is a layer cake, we're going to divide our batter evenly as we can into 2 different pans. Then we're going to put these into a moderate oven of 350 degrees, and since this recipe was from the middle of the 1800s, there is no bake time listed. It was about 25 minutes for me, but you're just going to pull that out of the oven, and you can use a toothpick, or if you're fancy and have a metal cake tester, you can use that. Whenever that comes out clean, your cakes are done. We're going to move our cakes to a cooling rack and let these cool entirely before moving on to our next step. In many of the recipes from this era, the flavoring in cake isn't actually put into the batter. It's put into the filling, or the frosting, or the icing, or a cinnamon sugar topping, or something like that. Very rarely is the flavoring in an 1800s cake put into the batter and then put into the oven. And that's the case with this cake as well. So let's start our filling. In the 1800s, this likely would have all been done by hand, but we have the advantage of technology, so we're going to use it. We're going to start by whipping up a 1/2 cup of heavy cream. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. Before I started making this recipe, I mashed and sweetened some strawberries. We're going to add a cup of that to our whipped cream. Our cake is cooled entirely by now, so we are going to spread our filling between the 2 layers after we get these cakes out of their pans and put it on our cake plate. Since there are 2 layers, we're going to divide our strawberry cream in half and put half on top of this first layer and half on top of our second layer. Without any further ado, let's take a look at our finished product. Strawberry cream cake from 1886.
So let's answer the question that everybody is wondering. Was the cake any good? I sincerely enjoyed this cake. It was not like a modern cake by any means, but I don't really think that was the point of this. I think the point of this was to create something that, as I mentioned earlier, is reminiscent of a strawberry shortcake, and that was definitely achieved here. I give the flavor an 8 out of 10. The cake has a very basic flavor, as there really was no flavoring in it, but that filling was really, really good with the cream and the strawberries, and it just tasted like an old-fashioned strawberry shortcake. The texture only gets a 7 out of 10. This is a denser cake, and it is kind of coarse, so for that, I had to give it a few points off, as well as that outside. Although it wasn't overcooked, the outside certainly was browner than the inside and a little bit crispier. Visual appeal, 8 out of 10. I think it's hard to go wrong when displaying anything that is strawberry because of the vibrant colors that are presented. However, on some terms, this was a pretty basic presentation. For simplicity, we give an 8 out of 10 as well. Anytime you're doing a baked good, there is a little bit of advanced method that is needed. However, as far as baked goods go, this was pretty easy. And as a repeat recipe, this gets 8 out of 10 as well. This was a really good cake, and I could see myself making it again. However, my wife really seemed to like it, so that's reason enough to make this again. When we add this all up, we get 39 points for our strawberry cream cake from 1886. Not too shabby of a score at all. And as we compare our strawberry cream cake scores to the rest of the recipes that we've done in our series up to this point, we are in third place. First and second place are tied between our Raisin Bran muffins and our oatmeal bread, and this comes in third. Make sure to like us on social media as well as subscribing here on YouTube, and we'll catch you next time for another recipe on Recipe Reviver.